So first, would you tell us your thoughts and concept for the coming season?
Yeah, okay. I always start like this. It's balancing maybe three ideas. First one is I think to myself, which individual pieces do I think it would be wonderful for the orchestra to experience? And then I think to myself, well, what would the audience most like to, what I would like the audience to experience in the whole program of an evening? And then I think to myself, what pieces do I personally feel I would like to perform again or for the first time at my age with my experience? And then all of those have different lists, and bit by bit I then come to a decision about what might be fun, and then we combine them all and see whether we make a fantastic season. I mean, this particular year I wanted to revisit again Japanese composers, which I hadn't been able to do for the last 2 years. So I wanted a young and old. So we have Takemitsu and then Sakai-san. And I also wanted to present a commission that we gave to Martin Fröst, the very fantastic clarinet player. This happens to be a Swiss French, a Genevan actually composer, but very well known in the modern music. And then to say, okay, so now I've got some modern music, how do I then balance around this? And then I can say, all right, well, I have a French composer, and Takemitsu, of course, was had a very big relationship to French music. So maybe it would be wonderful to then spend some time with this orchestra with French music. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we had Pelléas, and one of the huge skills of the orchestra is this ability to flow, make music that moves all the time, and yet they play fantastically well together. I said to them before the Suntory concert, I said, you have to realize that you can only do this if you all decide to give of all your energy, your ego into the collective, and then create something together. And that's a most amazingly special thing. And orchestras try to do it all the time, but it's a very difficult thing to do. And this orchestra is extremely good, which is why I think the colors and the fluidity, the perfume, if you like, of French music was one thing I wanted to come back to this particular season. But that's just one of many points. If we're clever, all of the pillars of thought will come together in the end to make a season which I hope, which I'm sure is an exciting season to actually be audience member and an orchestral member of.
So the Japanese audience appreciate your Beethoven very much, and last time was the 6th, and the coming season you included the 5th in the program. But personally, he will really love to listen to from the 1st to the 9th as a special, program. Don't you have that sort of idea, and as a chef of this orchestra?
If you would like that, I would like that too. I've always thought it would be fantastic to have time to find a great composer, let's say Brahms, for example, and you start with Opus 1 and you work your way through all of the works in the order that the composer. You would go through an entire life, and usually I find that I know some of the works of a composer, but I certainly don't know all of the works. And this idea of then going through all Beethoven symphonies 1 through 9, I mean, obviously it's fun if we go actually really in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because in great artists, and therefore in this particular case great composers, you will experience truths of a human life, and by going through from this case, symphony, from 1 to 9, you will watch and revisit and share that particular person's journey through life, which I think is a wonderful thing. I remember 2 weeks ago I performed the Fauré Requiem for the first time for a very, very long time. And the Fauré Requiem is a piece that I got to know when I was 8 years old. And when I was 10 years old, I then sang this, the Pie Jesu, in a big concert in Birmingham with conductor Louis Frémaux. And that obviously is a very major event as a 10-year-old and as a musician. And then I come and look at this score again, and I've done it once between 10 and now. And then I look at this piece again, I immediately, the piece of music encapsulates all the experiences of my particular life, a musical life. And so I think anybody who has been touched by music, and especially classical music, because I hate the word classical music, but the classical music means music with a lot of individual parts, a lot of individual players required to make it. Therefore, quite a complex way of suggesting human experience. Most things in life are very complex. You don't only feel one thing, so you feel a mixture of many things at the same time, which is, I think, the gift of this music we call classical music. But if you then are touched by this music, once we were at Tower Records yesterday, you go, no music, no life. It's a fantastic statement. It's true. If once you've been touched by music, then you say no music, no life. Therefore, your own experience as a listener or performer becomes associated with your experiences of a particular piece. And so over the years, that piece you visit yourself again, you visit your life again, you visit the transition that's happened between that time and this time. So I would be very, very happy and excited to do all of Beethoven's symphonies in one go. How would we do it? Would we take a break after every 3? I don't know. But if you can't be the only person who would like to do that. We aren't the first people who would have done all Beethoven symphonies. But I think it's an excellent idea. Should we do it? Let's do it.